Hello everyone, Brian here. It's nice to be back in front of the camera. After the previous video, the landscaping and its impact on home energy, off camera I went ahead and knocked off some of the things that were mentioned in the video as far as things to do. For instance, I started in the planter area and cleared back the redbud tree, took all the beans down, planted a variegated lemon in the other planter. So over a course of a couple of days, we cut back this redbud tree really good. We took all the black beans off of it. We have a bucket full of black beans. Then we cleared up all this space, and then we planted our variegated lemon tree in the center. Then we reran the drip lines. They really coiled this with a lot of drip, and this planter was getting a lot of water. So we redid it, made a T here, ran this drip line all the way back here to where our cannas are growing. Maybe we'll grow ginger. Then we redid the lines. So from that bucket of bean pods, which was a 2-gallon bucket, we got 3.5 cups of black beans back. It took about an hour and 20 minutes to shell everything. It's pretty much consistent with our last harvest 46 weeks ago, where we got, I think it was 3 cups or 2.5 cups of black beans. So black beans, yeah, they're really good for your liver. I usually add some in a pork bone broth, and if there's lotus, lotus is also good. It adds a little bit of sweetness and flavor to a pork bone broth, and it's really good for your body. Helps your liver, if I didn't already mention it a couple seconds ago. And then the next thing I did was cleared back this holly and had a bunch of holly leaves and branches, and with the holly it got sent away to off-site, because the leaves, when they dry, even when they're alive, the leaves have these sharp thorns on them, and they're really hard and thorn-like. So even when they're dry, I would just, shovel them with my hands, and they will stick. So they're no fun. Like bougainvillea, I don't keep them around to compost for that reason. The other thing I got around to doing was replanting the tartan dahlia, and then in the planter where there's a bunch of shade, I dug out a bunch of gladiolus bulbs, and also dug out the Gerber daisies and relocated them to the front yard where there's full sun. So I think they'll be happy and they'll flower more. It's also my wife's favorite flower, so with them being on the driveway when she walks in and out, she can enjoy them more, because she's not in the backyard too often. And let's see, other things. This big olive tree I started trimming back. It's a nice climbing tree. You can go up there and climb if you like climbing trees like I do. It's a hardwood tree, so it's one of the trees that in permaculture, I think it's not talked about often. If you get one that makes olives and it fruits, you can make olives out of. Unfortunately, this one doesn't make large enough olives where I can pickle. So that would be nice to have olives to pickle. But nonetheless, the hardwood I use for as firewood, kindling. I like to use wood kindles to start fire. I haven't used lighter fluid in a long time. So I have a bunch of sticks that I sort and save, and use that as a way to start a fire. And you've seen many a times where I use the sticks from around to build these retainers, and the olive is a really good wood to use because it's nice and firm. We'll look at it in a little bit. We'll take a closer look in a little bit. And then down in front, I have this newer compost heap pile, and once again use sticks to make a retaining area, and on top laid sticks so that the wind doesn't blow all the leaves that we got when we worked in the front yard. I guess with that, that's what I've been working on these last couple of weeks. and then we'll do a quick walk around the permaculture garden to see what's going on. And in a different video, in the days ahead, we'll look at what's going on in the backyard and also in the raised planters. Here's our massive olive tree. It's a hardwood, so these trunks weigh probably a ton. So as far as me trying to cut anything that's big, it's kind of dangerous because I don't have the training or the expertise or the equipment. So I generally just take the ones that are thinner, the branches that are thinner. So up there, I have to cut some of those branches that come out of that big branch and thin it out a little bit. So I started doing that yesterday, and we have over there just a pile of leaves and thinner branches. And then over here, it's not really sorted very well, but our pile of various branches that can be used for starting fires, keeping a fire, or even in the garden as stakes or other types of material. So one example, when I sort through these sticks or when I cut them down, is some of them make good stakes. For instance, I try to cut them so that it has a point, so it's easier to drive into the ground. And then I try to find where the knots are. So this had a branch going out this way, and where the knot is, it's even more dense. So you can hammer, you have a surface area to hammer, and the branch or the stick won't, fall apart. So this is a good stake. So if there are any vampires, you better watch out. I've got garlic and I've got these stakes. Yeah, and then let's go and see the rest of the permaculture garden area. In our dragon fruit pruning video, we pruned this dragon fruit cutting, and at the top we can see some growth off the tips already. So there's some growth there. And the other day when I moved it, I noticed that the roots were coming out. So let's see if we can see any roots. Nope, we don't see any roots today. It actually, when I moved it, it fell over and all the roots got knocked out. So, but that's once again, you can start cutting by just setting it on top of the soil like that, or just burying it right away. But I did this as an illustration for you guys. So, yeah, not much is going on out here. Once again, this is in addition to this portion is in addition to our other piece there, and this is mostly just to allow another area for compost to break down, because the compost bin is already full in the back, and these sticks are just to weigh the leaves so they don't get blown away. I have something to show you guys. Don't know if you recognize what that is. These are saffron crocus. They're ornamental crocus, and then the saffron, it produces a flower which has stamens on there, and once they're dried, they are the most expensive spice in the world. They usually pop out late September and then bloom in October, but this year they're doing it a month later, and it's interesting to see that it's also the case with other people in other parts of the country where their saffron crocus is popping out a month later as well. I'm not sure that these guys will flower this year. Hopefully they will, and we can show you, but in the meantime, you can check out a picture from a previous year. They're pretty flowers. As far as anything else happening, not too much. And there's a daylily that's being grown from seed and it popped out. So we'll wait about 2 years before we'll see a flower. We'll see what the flower looks like. Since these been highly hybridized, they generally don't produce the same flower color or even some type sometime as the parent plant. And this is what a seed looks like. So I threw a bunch of seeds in here and one popped out as far as sprouting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The city street division's out now, so it's gonna get a little bit noisy, so we'll end the video here. We had a water main break the other day, and they're here to patch up the road, so see you next time. Thanks for watching. When they shut off the water as a result of the water main break, I couldn't cook, so I went out and did some gardening. Afterwards, when I was done and I went to go wash my hand, I realized why I went gardening in the first place. It was because there was no water. But luckily, we had some rain and we collected a good amount of water, and I was able to use the rainwater to wash my hands.